Good evening all and welcome to another video on All Hail the Ale. Tonight we are going for a beer from a brand new brewery who only started up during the COVID pandemic in 2020. This is their very first beer. Which one is it? It's this one. It is Kickabo Brewery and the beer is called Don't Look Back. And it is a cold brewed coffee porter. Couldn't get me words out there for a minute. And it weighs in a very sensible 4.3% ABV. And like I say, the brewery's brand new. They only started last year during the pandemic. And the beer was only released for the customers a couple of weeks ago. I was apparently the first walk-in customer to the brewery. So yeah, bonus there, but I've not been able to drink it for a few weeks because I went for my vaccine and I was following the advice I was given during the trials to avoid alcohol for a week before and 2 weeks after. So this is the first beer I'm having. Now I can. So what can I tell you about it? Well, like I say, it's a cold brew coffee porter and it says it's inspired by a breakfast of coffee and donuts on a chilly Boston morning. This porter is lightly carbonated to bring out the rich roasted coffee and nutty flavours of the malts. A little reminder to look forward to a bigger and brighter days ahead. I like the sound of that. It's quite inspiring. Your ingredients are water, malted barley, yeast and hops, keeping it nice and simple. Your beer is vegan friendly, it's unfiltered and it says please pour carefully to avoid sediment. So I shall do that, and just for those of you who don't know, they are based in Burslem in Stoke on Trent. And they are backing onto a very familiar brewery, Titanic. So yeah, I'm excited to see if good beer can be produced in two locations right next to each other. So I love the can artwork; it's really cool. And Kickabo, it's reference to a local saying that I'm not going to attempt to say it because I'm not local and I don't really know how to say it. Something to do with kicking a ball. I will find details and ask my Stokey wife, and I'll stick it in the description below for those of you who are interested. But we're here for the beer, so let's not dither and delay any longer. Let's get it open and see what we've got. So we're going to pour into my vocation glass today. And the pour is lovely. So it is lightly carbonated, as we can tell. See if we can generate a bit of a head. We don't want masses. That'll do nicely. So what have we got? Well, we've got it's pretty much jet black until you get right in front of the lights and you get a little bit of mahogany creeping through at the bottom, right where the glass meets the stem. You've got a nice compact sort of tan head that's about a finger's worth. That's a mighty fine looking porter. Let's look at that instead of my face for a minute. Look at that, that's lovely. So yeah, looks great. Let's have a whiff. Oh, that's rich in coffee. It's like a sweet, milky coffee. Yeah, that smells lovely. That's really dark roasted. Sweetness is coming through from something. There's like a milkiness as well. I think like almost like a tiramisu kind of thing going on with that sweet vanilla. And a nice, rich roasted coffee. And yeah, that's spot on the nose. Yeah. Now I'm gonna be opening up front. I've got two of these to try. This one is cold. I'm gonna do one this week and one next week. The next week's one to be warm. I say warm. It'll be room temp, just to experience the difference between cold and room temp. So let's have a taste. That's nice. That is nice. The body is on the medium side, slightly lighter than medium, but you are hit in the face straight away with big, beautiful, bold coffee. It's really nice. Yeah. It's got a lot of flavour for 4.3% as well. It's not light on the flavour either. It's a really intense, in-your-face flavour that's only going to amplify when you have it a little bit warmer. Now, it's been out of the fridge for about 20 minutes, so I know this is just going to improve as time goes by. Carbonation, as mentioned, is light and it benefits from it. For me, it allows everything just to work, and it's not fizzy and popping, and yeah. It's slightly dry, which I appreciate as well. It's not cloying in any way. Sometimes you can get sort of the heavier sort of coffee-based stouts and porters that can be a little bit cloying, a little bit heavy in the mouth. This is not heavy and oily in any way, shape or form. It's just about right for a porter. There's a beautiful balance of bitterness coming through as well, and it works really well with the coffee. It's just a beautiful balance. It's like having a, shall we say, a medium roast coffee. You get that kind of blend of bitterness and the coffee flavour. There's a little bit of chocolate coming through from some of the malt as well. I don't know what malts have gone into it. It doesn't really say on the can, but there is a sweetness coming through, and I suspect that's what's there. It's obviously vegan friendly, so there's no lactose. It'd be interesting to see what it would be like with lactose in, though. Make it like a milk stout type version of it, or a milky porter. That would be very interesting. And the finish on it is nice as well. It's fairly long. It's coffee. It's balanced bitterness. Hops are very sort of well represented, but they're not in your face. It's letting the malts do the heavy lifting, and it's really, really tasty. So, let's go to some scores. And we're going to consult the Untapped Aid memoir, which, let's be honest, at the moment doesn't take much remembering because there's only 14 check-ins and an average of 3.86. I'm going to add number 15 and I'm going to increase that score, I can tell you now. So, excusez-moi, my board of joy is this one. So the looks, it was a great, well, it still is a great looking beer. Obviously the head hasn't hung around forever, but it is cold, and I suspect it would last longer when it was warmer. It's got a nice little bit of lacing on the glass, not massive, but it's a damn fine looking beer. Can't fault the appearance at all. I'll give it a full point on that. The aroma, on something like this, I was hoping for big coffee, and I've got it in abundance. Like I say, this one is served just out of the fridge for about 20 minutes, and it's still strong. When it's warmer, I fully expect it to be even stronger still, and just a little bit more open and dynamic. But even from cold, the aroma is banging. It's perfectly balanced, and yet you've got a good strength of coffee on it. I'm gonna give it the full point. Body is, like I say, lighter than medium, but not by a long way. It's about right for a porter. If it was a stout, I'd want it heavier, but for a porter, it's just about right. And the mouthfeel is smooth. It's not heavy in any way and cloying. It's not fizzy and over-carbonated. The carbonation is spot on. I really cannot fault this one at all on the body. It's spot on. Now, taste is king. And let's be honest, they've knocked it out of the park on this one. The malts are really, really good. You've got good strength of coffee. You've got a nice sweetness from one of the malts coming through in the background to balance everything out, and a little hint of chocolate as well. It just works. It really is nice. It's balanced. It's got the right amount of hop for a porter. Again, they're not in any way forward. They're sitting there and, like I say, allowing the malts to do all the heavy lifting and give you all of the taste experience. Spot on again. Cannot fault it. And blow me down, we come to the finish, whereby we analyse the finish of the beer. Which on something like this, a coffee porter, I want longevity. I want that coffee to come through. I want a balance of the bitterness. And it delivers in spades. I can't fault it. You know, it's spot on. Like I say, just the right amount of bitterness, beautiful amount of coffee. I can still taste it now. It's still going. And I'm one of these freaks of nature who likes to sit and chew on coffee beans, you know, nicely roasted, just sit and chew on them. And it's like I've got that lingering taste of coffee from doing that. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I can't fault it. So, could be a contender for Beer of the Year. It could. It could. It's got a 5 out of 5 from me. There we go. So, yeah. It's really, really tasty. It remains to be seen what it's going to be like when it's poured room temperature. But like I say, I can only expect the flavours to be more dynamic, a little bit more open. The body should lift a little bit and just become a little bit more lively. The aromas should open up again and just be a little bit more, yeah, it would just like be sticking your head in a field of flowers, as opposed to sort of sticking your head in freshly Lenored washing. Real McCoy. It's beautiful. So, yeah. Like I say, if you've not heard of the brewery before, don't be surprised. I hadn't until I spotted them on Facebook talking about opening up in the middle of a pandemic. That's crazy. But they've sort of really sort of knocked it out of the park. You know, their first beer is a banger. The next one's out soon. They're brewing it in a minute. It's a Dortmunder. I'll be going down for some of that, of course. So, ladies and gents of Kickabo Brewery in Burslem, Stoke on Trent, give yourself a slap on the back. You know, it's superb beer for your first effort out there into the wild. On that note, I'm going to stop waffling and go drink the rest of this lovely beer and say that has been a beer. Down there are the buttons. You know what to do. Give the brewery some love. I'm going to stick their Facebook page up and everything on the description, and give their beer a try as well because it's superb. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.